Hi there. I just wanted to give an update on my vegan journey. Some of you may know that I started my journey on the 1st of June this year, and I have to say that I am loving it. I'm grateful too that my daughter is joining me on this journey, so she helps prepare the meals. We just research different things that we can have and enjoy. It's just like a new excitement for us right now to come up with different recipes. We use a lot of nuts and beans, so we use those things as meat. Sometimes we make sauces from the cashews and the walnuts and almonds and sunflowers, to beef up our salad, or just to create meat, a meat alternative, that is. And so we're liking it a whole lot. But the thing for me is, I realized that I've lost a significant amount of weight. When I jumped on the scale the other day, I was 38 pounds down. Now, this weight didn't come off just like that. I realized that before I started the journey in June 1st, we started weaning ourselves off the meat, like from in March. And so this weight was like from March, right, up to now, that in total is 38 pounds. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. As I took this journey to improve my health, I realized that my weight was just a bonus. I have faced a lot of challenges in my life recently. I've lost my brother to a hit and run car accident in October of last year in Nassau. And this year, my mom passed in January. And so that, coupled with a lot of other stuff that's going on mentally and emotionally in my life, I found myself at my heaviest outside of pregnancy. Like, I saw numbers like 190 plus. I'm like, in this little body? No, no, no. And I was like, Chantal, you can't just focus on the weight that's people are seeing on the outside. You have to focus on the weight that's on the inside. You have to deal with the fact that you lost your brother. You have to deal with the fact that you lost your mom, and the other things that is going on with you. You have to deal with them. And so this really, really got me thinking that the weight that we carry on the outside is a direct reflection of the weight that we carry on the inside. Things that we internalize, things that we suppress, things that we refuse to deal with, things that we know that we have to deal with, and we just brush it off. We carry things that people do and say to us. We carry people that we've lost. We just carry them. We deal with loss and trauma in so many different ways. Some of us, like me, I eat. Some of us drink. Some of us sleep around. Some of us are very destructive. Otherwise, we think that these things that we do is helping, but they don't. They don't. And so what they are is destructive. Eating to suppress emotions is destructive. You're doing harm to your body. And so we have to begin to zoom in on that. Find ourselves in a healed place instead of just suppressing things. I believe that when we start taking care of ourselves emotionally and mentally, we give our children a fighting chance to become whole too. I personally don't want to leave a legacy of wound or hurt or trauma for my children. We experience a lot of stuff in our lives, and we respond from a trauma base. We carry things from our childhood. We carry things from experiences over a time of our adult life, and because we don't adequately deal with them, they come out in many different forms, and that is destructive. That is not good. And I believe that as parents, we have to come to a place where we apologize to our children for the work that we didn't do in us, because they can see that things is not right. They struggle with the fact that mommy and daddy not getting it right. They struggle with the fact that when adults gonna get it together, because I believe too, if the adults is not okay, the children are not gonna be okay. So if we have as adults struggle, our children is gonna struggle. Our generation is gonna struggle. And so just how we deal with the outward weight that people can see, we need to zoom in on the inward weight that people cannot see. People can't see that you're angry. People can't see that. Well, sometimes they can, because it comes out in our attitude. So that's another story. But overall, we mask the weight that we carry so well that people don't see and understand what's going on in here and in here. And I realized that since I lost my brother, since I lost my mom, and I was emotionally eaten, the weight wasn't going anywhere until I start to zoom in on the fact that they're not here. Until I start zooming in on the fact that, girl, you need to focus on all these emotions that you have going and stop suppressing them. And once I start doing that, I start just mapping through. And I'm a firm believer too, when you accept what is, acceptance opens the door for change. And so I accept the fact that, hey, he was hit. He died. He's gone. Mommy was there. She was sick. She's gone. Not coming back. And so I had to come to terms with that and not gravel with it. I had to come to terms with it. I had to face the reality that death is a part of life. It's a part of our journey. We can't run away from it. We can't hide from it. It just is. That's the part of the circle of life. And so my message to you is, where we focus on exercise and where we focus on eating well, we focus on losing the weight on the out. I want you to also focus on the weight that's on within. Focus on what's inward, the things that we struggle with, the things that we don't want people to know, the things that we don't want people to see, or we think they don't see, or we think they don't know, right? Leave a legacy of wholeness to your children. Allow your children the opportunity to see you operating from a state of wholeness and not trauma and not broken. Offer that to your children. The ability to heal. Healing is a gift you give to yourself, and everybody else get to benefit from it. That's what I realized. Healing is a gift you give yourself, and everybody else benefits from it. And so on this journey, to veganism, on this journey to wholeness, I'm giving my children, my grandchildren, and my legacy to come an opportunity to see me as whole and not broken, so that they could understand what whole look like. We just keep showing them the broken pieces of us, the broken pieces, all the craziness. We have to stop that. We have to decide that it's a time and a place that we have to start owning our role in this life and stop blaming people. We have our relationships, we connected to people, and we want to blame people for everything. Oh, you did this to me, you did that to me, and I'm doing this because of this. Hey, stop. We have to begin to come to a place where we own what we're doing. Own what we're doing and not blame. When you own what you're doing, you're taking full responsibility for your role, because everybody plays roles in relationships, and we have to zoom in on the role that we play in the breakdown of whatever relationship, siblingship, parentship, friendship, maritalship, whatever ship. We play roles, and we have to begin to own the role that we play and say, hey, I did that, I'm sorry. And say, hey, I could have done that differently, I apologize. And say, hey, I didn't get this right, but I'm willing to try something different. own the role that you play in the different dynamic relationships that you have so that you can show up as a whole individual and not a broken individual. All right? So when you're out there on the track or on the beach or in the gym or wherever it is that you find yourself working out, work out the matters of your heart. Work out your emotional, your mental, and your spiritual well-being. Work those out too, because as a part of your self-care journey, that encompasses all of that. Balance, spiritual, emotional, mental, physical balance. We can't just want to adorn the outside and leave that inside crappy. What are you doing? And I had to ask myself that, Chantal, what are you doing? You gotta fix on the inside, because what it look like you look so good on the outside and the inside is dark? It's rotting away because you're not doing the inward work. I want you to stop and think about this. Like, what is the value in not working on your emotions? What's the value in that? Nothing really. Nothing. So today, if you don't hear anything else that I say, hear me when I say the weight that you carry on the outside is not going to go anywhere until you deal with the weight that you carry on the inside. The weight on the inside is just as important as the weight you carry on the outside, and you have to deal with both of them. Both of them. All right? It doesn't matter really what you go through. It matters how you deal with it. It matters how you process it. It matters how you break it down. That's what matters. Because things are always going to be happening to us. Things are always going to not be right. But how we're going to show up for these things is what's going to determine the outcome. Choose to show up from a positive space and not a broken space. Choose to show up from a whole place so that your outcomes can be different. Your outcomes can be better, so that your children can see that, boy, I like how mommy dealt with this. Boy, I like how daddy dealt with this, because you're teaching them how to deal with it. The more we don't deal with things in a positive way, we're teaching them that this is what you do. And so we have a cycle of broken people. You know, we train in brokenness, and we don't want to do that anymore. We want to train wholeness. And so we have to take a stand. We have to take that stand and apologize to our children and say, you know what? I haven't been getting it right. And I promise you that I'm going to try my best. We have to take a stand and get this thing right that we call life. Get this thing right. What is whole for me looks different from what is whole for you, but you have to know what your whole is. You have to know that. Your children are depending on you. Your grandchildren are depending on you. No longer we have to stay in this place of blame. Stop that. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Come on, deal with the weight. Deal with the weight. It makes sense to deal with the weight. I'm dealing with mine, and I want you to deal with yours so we could have a better quality of life. Okay? Deal with the weight.